welcome back everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am back with another card for Pixie Dust Designs. Today I am featuring a new stamp set called the Gingy Dress Up. This stamp set is absolutely adorable. It features, 27 stamps with gingerbreads. There's a little boy gingerbread and a girl gingerbread, and then there's the one missing the chunk out of his head. And then lots of little dress up items. So you can kind of treat these like paper dolls if you're old enough to know what paper dolls are. And then there is a coordinating die set as well that goes with this. So I'm going to be playing with that. I'm also going to be playing with the snow globe, and I believe this was an earlier release. So we're just going to make a shaker card today with the snow globe. And the snow globe itself has 19 dies, and it does have 4 sentiment dies. So it has these great, like the bell and some leaves, some holly leaves. So lots of fun things to play with. I am using some inspiration cards today for my color scheme. And I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I am stamping these onto some 110-pound cardstock. I'm going to color them with my Olo markers. And I did, try to stick with the palette I thought would work for like a soft, soft pastel colors, which I'm kind of loving for Christmas this year. I'm just going through and adding some white detail to my hat. And then, let's see what else. I'm going to color the rest of the images, finish up my gingerbread. I'm adding some shimmer pin to the lights on the gingerbread house. Give it a little bit of sparkle, even though it won't be seen very much, because once you get all the shaker bits in there and all that sparkle's going on, it kind of overshadows the sparkle here. But hey, it's the thought that counts. And I did use the white, a white Jelly Roll pin on the trim for the gingerbread boy and girl. And I ended up only using one, and I'll explain to you why in a little bit. So I'm going to die cut all of these out. Finish coloring too. And we will start working on our shaker die. So the shaker is very interesting. It cuts like the snow layers, and there's a main base that cuts the globe shape itself. So you just build your layers from there. And I'm over here fussing with it, trying to determine if I want the snow layers or the hill layers on the outside or the inside. I eventually do get it figured out. I cut several of these. I think I cut 6 out of some heavyweight cardstock because I'm building up my shaker base. So this is going to be where I have all my shaker bits inside of this. And I'm just using a nail file to file off any excess like little paper pieces that are on the edge. And I've added that to a piece of heavyweight vellum. And I'm going to layer it onto the shaker card base, which I cut from some silver. It's like a silver embossed paper I had in my stash. It looks really cool, and it was a little thin, so I added another layer behind it. This card has lots and lots of layers. It was really thick when I got done. That just makes it a little bit sturdier, so it can handle all of the shaker layers that I'm going to put on it. So here I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do the background on the inside of the globe. So I'm kind of trying to position it and see where it needs to go and figure out, again, how I'm going to do my hills here. And I cut my hills for the shaker from some white glitter cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and ink blend on my background, and I am using some distress inks for this. The pink is the Spun Sugar Distress ink, and then I'm also going to use a Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink, and also the Shaded Lilac. And I've grabbed a stencil from my stash. This is a layering stencil. It's got these really pretty snowflakes on it. And I'm going to go ahead and color those using the Shaded Lilac and the Tumbled Glass. So I'll have a pink background with a couple different colors of snowflakes. And it's going to be really pretty. I love this stencil. It's so pretty. I love snowflakes in general, so anything winter themed, I'm all about it. So you can see how these stencils kind of layer together, and it creates a cool pattern. Okay, blend this Shaded Lilac on, which is a really pretty color. I don't know why I don't use these colors more often. And then I also am going to add I'm going to add some tonic glimmer paste over this layer when I'm done here. So it'll have the shaded lilac will be like glittery. I'm here looking at my placement, trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to get everything in there. Again, I'm going to go ahead and add that glimmer paste. Clean off my stencil before I do that. And then we will put some glimmer paste on it. And this is the Moonstone glimmer paste from Tonic Studio. So it has a nice iridescent glitter to it. It's so pretty. It's been a while since I've broke out my glimmer paste, so I think I need to do that more often. Wait till you see the reveal. Look at how sparkly that is. It's so pretty. I set that aside to dry. I'm going to go ahead and finish dressing up my little gingerbread people. Testing it to make sure it's dry. Now I'm going to work on building up my background. And as you can see, I did initially have 2 gingerbread people in it. I ended up only using 1 because I thought 2 plus the gingerbread house was a little bit crowded. So here I am. I've put my background into my different layers for the shaker, and then that way I can get it centered onto my card base, or my card background, I should say. So I put some adhesive on that, and then I get it perfectly centered. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on my snowy hills here, and I end up doing a little bit of surgery. I put one on the outside, and then the one on the inside I thought was a little bit too wide, so I'm going to go ahead and I will trim that down so that it's not quite so wide. I'm just going to use a pencil here and draw the outline so I get it lined up perfectly, and then I will just snip that. It'll be a little bit more shallow, snowy hill. And it worked out perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and place my images. I did go ahead and cut some of the trees from the snow globe die. I cut those from some, it's like a mint green, well, sort of a mint green cardstock. Just going to place those in there. Decided the grouping of 3 looked better than the grouping of 2 and then 1 off to the side. And I added a little bit of liquid glue to the back. I had to add some additional scrap cardstock to the back of my gingerbread man and the back of my little gingerbread house so that they would lay sort of flat when I glued them down. It worked out. And gluing all these little pieces. These tweezers really come in handy for all the small pieces when you're working with these kind of dies and die cuts, because some of them can be very small. That little tree is so tiny, but it's so cute. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a powder tool, an anti-static powder tool, to keep, this is just to keep the shaker bits from sticking inside of the shaker. So I added it to the inside of the card and also to the vellum that's going to be on the layer, not vellum, sorry, my clear acetate that's going to be separating the main base of the shaker from the outside. Those will get glued together. Then I'm just adding in some, I had some snowflake sequins, a couple different kinds of snowflake sequins. I'm adding those in. And then here in a minute I will add in some, I believe I used some iridescent stars as well. So it made it very pretty. Those snowflakes kept sticking to me. I was trying to add them in. The stars are really pretty. This is going to be very cool. So I am using red line tape to seal up the outside of my shaker. It just keeps everything contained inside. And of course I put it down the first time and I got it on crooked. So I'm going to try again. I think I added a little bit of liquid glue to that. And I did let that sit overnight to dry because I wasn't sure it was going to seal very well. I have taken the base of the snow globe and cut a card base for this, and I just didn't cut the top part of it, so it's basically a top folding card. And my shaker will just glue onto this. And then it stands up. It also rocks a little bit too. It's kind of cool. So it's a shaped shaker card that rocks. I also cut some hollies and the berries from the snow globe die from that mint green cardstock, and I'm gluing those to the top. And then I took a white Jelly Roll pen and filled in the lines, the detail lines from the holly. It kind of looked cool, and then I got on a whim and decided to do the whole thing, do the whole shaker and everything. And I was having a hard time with my Jelly Roll pen, so I'm running around with white ink marks. So here it's hard to see, but the snowflake die has a stitching detail around the outside. So I just took my white Jelly Roll pen and every other one, I colored in those stitching marks. And then in the opposite ones, I went through and added the Sakura. It's a shimmer pen, so it's sparkly. It looks pretty cool. I like the stitching detail. It adds something to it. And then I added a little bit of shimmer to my holly berries with an aqua pen. And then I'm going to stamp on the inside of the card the sentiment. I believe it says "From our home to yours." Yep. And then I did end up changing out my sentiment. I decided I didn't like the ink color originally that was on it. And I stamped the Happy Holidays. This is from another stamp set. I'll have to get the name of that and post it here. And everything will be linked below as well in my YouTube description. So I stamped that, popped it up with some dimensional foam, and then I added a couple of little sequins glued to that sentiment strip there, just to kind of bring a little bit of the snow to the outside of the shaker card. And I like the light blue cardstock that I use, keeping with the pastel theme for my shaker. I think it also helps the inside of the shaker kind of pop because it's more vibrant. And I got glue everywhere, of course. But that is a finished shaker card using the Gingy Dress Up and the Snow Globe die. I hope you've enjoyed my card today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified of all of our content. Have a great day.